or whether it was every Christmas, with Margaret and Lindsay and the new adventures that we did. And I think one year we spent it in Florida, and we would do different things to entertain, or not to entertain Lindsay, but to make her think that, because if Lindsay went to bed on Christmas Eve, I would go out with two big broomsticks sellotaped together, and then sellotape a jar to the end of that, and then put in a big thing of dried peas or something, and then a lid on it, and then Margaret would go up the stairs and say, "I think Santa's coming. You're going to have to go to sleep. You're going to have to." And then Lindsay would say, "But I can't." And then I would go out and go with the peas, and she would hear it through the window and go, "Oh, there's the reindeers. There's the reindeers. They're coming. They're coming." And then, and we things like that you look back on, I mean, like, God love her, she was younger than her daughter is now, so how she's able to sort of find that magic for Sky and stuff, I'm sure she can, because she's her dad's daughter for sure. And we videoed them every year as well, so there's always something to look back on. But as I say, it's on the shelf, don't dwell on it. But I love them. And I actually spent a few years back, whenever I was living in Spain, obviously spent Christmas in Spain, and wow, that's an experience. On the 25th of December, JJ was like 2 or 3 or whatever, and then 4, and then 5, and then we came back here again. But I was out on Christmas Day in a t-shirt, with the sun blazing on a football pitch. What, and going into a bar and sitting in the terrace outside, with and obviously I was taking photographs and sending them home, and people were sending me back, photographs of the snow, and or the rain and the wind and stuff, and then I would be going, it's another day in paradise. But when you're here, then all you do is just make the best of it. But a wee thing I was thinking about last night was, whenever I was very young, and obviously Robert, Karen, Cheryl, sometimes, yeah, Cheryl came along, and she was part of what we used to do. Was it was like nearly like a kind of a, like a Christmas routine, but it changed over the years with regards to where we would go. But at first, I just remember going up the Longbrick Avenue, up the Shangle, and sitting, in my granny's wee sort of. She didn't even have a toilet inside. It was like something, a bidet up the stairs and a toilet out the back. And Christmas dinner, and my Uncle John, knocking a pint over, and everybody laughing, and me going, but, and then somebody playing dummies meeting, and it was brilliant. And then my granny moved to Ballyduff, out there past Glencormley, and the sort of joining factor with regards to the Shangle, living in the Shangle to Ballyduff, was that we used to have to go. So every year I would be a year older, I would be more aware of this, and we would pick up Uncle Harry. Now, Uncle Harry, he was Frank Sinatra. I mean, he was just he was old blue eyes. Always wore a suit. You know, lived up the Shangle. We would pick him up and bring him to my granny's house, and then he would sit, and we would have our dinner and stuff. And I don't want to go into so many details, because everybody's got their own sort of memories or whatever. But then Harry at some stage would turn around and say, come on now, somebody give us a wee song, and what that basically meant was that Harry wanted to sing a song, But kind of became like a, he would sing a wee, start spreading the news, hour. And everything finished on an hour. It's coming today, hour. And then he would want somebody else to sing, and then my granny would sing Jelly on a Plate or something up your spout or something, and the tone would be lowered slightly. But Harry was brilliant. And then get Harry home, because, I mean, he he had a couple of whiskies, and then, it was time for him to go home. We would drop him off and then go home. And, as the years went on, originally I would play with my toys, but then I would, sort of sit. And then my mum and dad would have a wee night on Christmas night, and the neighbours would come round, Ryan McAllister and Billy Moe, Peggy. There was just Jesse Sturgeon, Tommy Sturgeon. And Christmas nights became great. But then they moved from, my mum and dad moved from the Craig estate up to the dual carriageway, up to Castle Donut, Delamount, Miriam, up to the swanky houses. But every Christmas, Harry still had to, be part of the proceedings. So this time, my mum and dad had just actually moved into the house, so it was the first Christmas that Harry was going to be spending in the new house with us. Well, not with me. I was with Margaret, but Robert and Karen and Cheryl were all still living with my mum and dad at the time. And so we arranged that we could go and get my granny, but Harry was going to have to get a taxi. So we had went over the night before and said to him, look, listen, the taxi's going to pick you up tomorrow at 2:00, and then you're going to be at our, at my mum's house at 2:20, 2:30, sort of thing. So here, and he gave a bit of paper. I wrote down the address and stuff on a bit of paper. So next day we were at my mum's house, and we would have went a wee bit earlier, sort of thing, or maybe sometimes a wee bit later, because sometimes we used to go to Margaret's mum's house, and then she would have poured like a whiskey that size, and then I had to recover before going back up for anything more. But so Harry got his taxi anyway, reached the house and went in, and everybody's standing there, all gives him a hug, and then he comes and he sits down, and then the drinks are flying, and whatever, and everything's going really, really brilliantly, and I mean, it was just one of the most wonderful Christmases ever, except whenever Harry turned around and said, right, and he was looking for my granny, Eileen. Right, Eileen, time for you to give us a wee, because he wanted to sing. But then everybody was sort of turning around going, who's Eileen? and then that's whenever they were sort of going, Eileen? Do you mean, yes, my sister Eileen, where is she? And then he sort of, hey ho, and then he says, look, listen, if you can't find Eileen, just get Big Jackie, and these people went over to him and went, Big Jackie? There's no Big Jackie here. And my Uncle Harry had went to the wrong house on Christmas Day on his way up. He didn't bring the piece of paper with him. He just said to the taxi driver, it's up at Delamount Park, and he drove up, and when he saw a commotion outside, he said to the taxi driver, this must be it, because there was a lot of people. So it was like one of those circumstances where, he went into the house, and because Christmas being Christmas, these people sort of were under the impression that Harry was with them. And then these people were under the impression that Harry was with them. So when Harry sat down and had his, his drinks and stuff, nobody thought anything of it. They would just come over and say, you okay for a wee drink, Harry? Because he had told everybody obviously his name by that stage. And then the singing